Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Oh Hell No. Today I am super excited. I know I say this for every episode, but all my guests are fabulous and I'm just excited to speak to them. So today we're talking to a young woman and she is known as Global Carnivalist. She attends Carnival, I guess, a lot. So I want to pick her brain because I've recently discovered Carnival and I just have to get the tea on it. So welcome. Thank you so much for giving me your time today.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be able to speak to you too.
Oh, I appreciate that. So let me start by asking you about your roots. Like, where are you from or your family? What's the Caribbean connection here, if there is one?
There is definitely one. I am of Trinidadian and Dominican descent and actually lived in the Caribbean for a couple of years before I moved to the States.
Awesome. I love it. Yes, I myself am Jamaican. So, my parents are Jamaican and, I was born
Oh,
here.
okay. Nice.
Yeah, but I always say don't try to take my Jamaican stripes. Just because I was born here, I was raised the Caribbean. So, people tend to get that messed up. They think that because we were raised here, we're not really as Caribbean as the people who were raised in the country, but they don't understand that our parents are Caribbean, so we're raised with their values. It's like, duh.
Yes, but I guess sometimes a little bit of the culture gets lost in transition too.
Yes,
so you guys are considered first generation with like Americans because you moved here,
right?
Or you were born here, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But you still West Indian, all the same. It's fine.
Exactly. I argue people down about that. All right. So, 5 years ago, I want to say 5 years ago, I have a friend who's Trinidadian too, kind of like myself. She was born here. Her parents are from Trinidad, and she introduced me to the whole soca scene. We went to a soca party, and I just like fell in love. I love the vibe, the fact that you can party and have a good time and it's safe. And that was my introduction to this whole soca carnival movement. What was you're Trinidadian, so it's kind of in your blood, it's your thing. But how old were you when you went to your first like soca party?
As an adult or as a child. So it's kind of different, right? Because when you grow up back home, that's all you really listen to. And as kids, we start going out. So I would say I was out with my parents when I was about 5 and really like had it in my blood. But to say as an older person, my first soca party, I was 17.
Wow.
So I was going out like very early. Like to me, that's what a party is all about. Just like the music, the vibe, everybody having a good time, and just going with the flow. Basically, there's no judgment. So euphoric.
Right. When was the first time you went to an actual carnival?
That would have been about 12 years ago. So, well, should I even count home? Because I was playing math. I played math as a child.
Wow.
So I don't know if that... yeah, I've been playing math my whole life. So I think the first time I actually put on a costume, I was 4.
Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. But
yeah.
I love that. So, what do you love the most about Carnival? I know it's your roots and everything, but what do you personally love about it?
Personally, I love how everybody treats you as a family member. Even though you might not know somebody and you see them for the first time or you've gone to several carnivals at a certain point, you start seeing the same faces. The way you're embraced amongst strangers is the thing that I love about carnivals the most. It is truly amazing. Like, I've even created friendships just out of meeting people via carnival.
Wow. Yeah, it is nice. I like that you can take a wine and, just keep it moving. I like that part.
Yep.
So,
30-second wine. You just wine to half of it and then you leave. Like, you don't have to stay there the whole time.
Exactly. No drama, no nothing. You just keep it moving. So, in total, do you know how many carnivals you have been to?
No, I don't.
Oh, my God. So, you go
but
to...
it's a lot.
Holy crap. All right.
This year alone, I've been to 6 of them. So, it's a lot.
Oh my gosh. So for this year, what would you who okay, give me your top 3 carnivals for this year.
Top three for this year would be Trinidad, Jamaica, and Bermuda.
Wow. Okay. So tell me a little from each place that you went what you love the most. So
For
Trinidad.
Trinidad, I love the. I would say the road is the best. Like actual mass part where you wearing your costume, you're meeting your friends is the best part for Trinidad Carnival. For Jamaica, Jamaica has I think they're starting to integrate soca a lot more into their parties,
Mhm.
and so the value that you get at the parties for how much you pay plus the amount of fun that you have is better to me in Jamaica.
Mhm.
And then Bermuda has the best water events. So if you go into a raft up or to like a pool party or something like that, it's
Mhm.
better there. Just because of how pretty their water is, how clean it is. Everything is on a boat. Like there's a lot more yacht parties and stuff like that happening in Bermuda. So I would give Bermuda that.
I went to Trinidad was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before.
For Carnival?
Yeah. And that was my
Okay.
first time. I know, it was my first time and we played with Tribe. It was such an exciting experience.
Nice.
Yeah, my friend, the same one who's Trinidadian, she has the hookup. So it was so
Oh,
amazing.
good.
But
So you know you need a hookup to get into tribe. Everybody does not get into
I
tribe.
know that is so crazy. But the one thing that I remember about that was I was exhausted. We stepped off of the plane and was like headed to a party. And it was like
A
two
party, yep.
yeah, it was like two
Yep.
parties a day. I actually like crashed and missed one of the parties because I got too drunk and was sick and then the early morning I couldn't go. So like for first time carnival goers, what would you tell them about that whole thing about scheduling parties and carnival in Trinidad they have the Monday and then the Tuesday. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What would you say?
So my advice would definitely be to develop your stamina. Number one, you have to learn how to pace yourself. So if you know, for example, you're somebody that needs to sleep or you cannot handle going out all the time and drinking,
Mhm.
only do one party a day because you're going to kill yourself if you're partying twice a day because the sleep is very, very limited. Even if you are a veteran like myself, I
Mhm.
still want to sleep all the time. So I would say definitely space out your parties or pace yourself when you're drinking. For every drink, have a glass of water to
Yeah.
kind of balance out how much you're drinking. And definitely be safe and make sure you and your friends have like a safe haven in case you lose somebody. So that could be at the front of the stage or by a truck or whatever, just because things get lost in transition. So
Yeah.
those would be my three bits of advice that I would give anybody that's going to Carnival for the very first time, especially if you're doing one in the Caribbean, because they tend to be a little bit more intense than if it's in the States or somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely great advice. So this year I went to Jamaica Carnival and that was my first time ever going to Jamaica Carnival. And
Okay.
it was a great experience. But the thing is we didn't get to go the week of Easter where they have all the beach parties and all that stuff. So we missed all of that stuff. We ended up going like the Thursday right before Carnival. How early do you go to Carnival? Do you like spend the whole time there or are you just trying to catch, the actual Carnival?
So it depends on the carnival in itself. Some carnivals like Cropover or Trinidad, the whole season lasts about 2 months. So for me, I'll go about a week and a half out because we're partying from basically like a Tuesday to a Tuesday or a Tuesday to the Saturday after the actual carnival
Mhm.
because you want all the build-up events. But for a carnival like Jamaica that falls on a Sunday or like Miami that falls on a Sunday, you can really just go for the carnival itself and then leave. So basically, make it like a long weekend trip.
Yeah.
But for Jamaica, at least, even though there's things going on for the Easter weekend, during the week is not that much activity. So you're kind of unless you're using it as a time to vacation. For me in Carnival World, we're wasting days
Yeah.
being at that like there for so long.
Yeah, like but this year what I
Yeah.
want to say too about Jamaica is they really like ramped it up. Like they had a lot of events. They had a lot of I don't know, it was more visibility for them as a carnival on a whole. Like they had a new launch of, I think it was Zamaka, a new band.
Yeah, Jamaica. Yeah.
Yeah, like they had like a lot of stuff going on. We went to a lot of parties out there that I think it was like their first time having those parties there. So I think they're really trying
Yeah.
to capitalize on this whole carnival thing the way Trinidad does. I mean, it'll never be like Trinidad. To me, the vibe in Trinidad is just different. It's like, I don't know. I loved Jamaica Carnival. I thought it was done really well and I had a great time, but Trinidad, it's just so much bigger. It's like, the
Right.
vibe, the vibe on the road, everything.
Right.
Why is Tribe so hard to get into?
I believe Tribe markets to a certain type of masquerader, a masquerader that is very serious about being a masquerader, that's willing to pay for an all-inclusive experience. And so by doing it where it's like you have to know somebody to get into it, it
Yeah.
maintains the whole being like a family value. So you don't get into Tribe unless you know somebody that's either an affiliate of Tribe or a committee member in Tribe. So even though it's a large band, it kind of keeps it very personal for the most part versus just anybody being able to log on and purchase a costume.
Right. Yeah, that costume was
It's like being able to vouch for somebody, right?
Right.
You never let a stranger just come sleep in your house, right? So it's the same thing. It's like if Nicole knows her, then you're good. And that's the whole angle that Tribe comes from most of the time. It's not to just leave anybody out, but it is an organization. It is a family,
Yeah, it was really great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What bands have you played with, and who's your favorite, and why?
Oh, and that one I don't want to say so much. I do have several bands that I think are too are like I love. I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
But which carnival are we speaking to specifically? Trinidad?
Yeah, let's start with
Or
Trinidad.
any?
Let's say Trinidad.
Okay, with Trinidad, I have done Island People, Yuma, and Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually love all three of them equally for different reasons. So that's why I couldn't even pick a favorite.
Right.
And they're all three like relatively big bands. So one is not necessarily better than the other. They just all have different amenities.
Right.
For Jamaica, I've done Bacchanal Jamaica and Jamaica. For them, I would pick Jamaica. Jamaica is number one when it came to the amenities and the road experience.
Really? I played with
yes.
Oh my God, I can't remember the name. That's crazy. Lord. Okay.
Well, there's only Exodus.
Exodus. Yes, okay. I played with Exodus.
So Exodus was a new band. I heard very great things about Exodus.
Yes, it was nice.
But for me personally, I can't speak to it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was nice. My favorite thing was at lunch. This sounds like so greedy, but at lunch they had like seating and the way everything was set up, you had like tables and you could go in the back and do your makeup. They had people to fix your makeup, your hair and all that stuff. I really appreciated that. That was nice.
Jamaica had all of that too, and did even better where the eating area was an air-conditioned room.
Yeah.
So you were sitting in AC. It was amazing, and then you could use real bathrooms, and just the whole setup was the same thing too.
Wow, that's
awesome. Each of the bands are bringing their special touches to make sure that the carnival experience all around is wonderful.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think it's fabulous. So this year you went to Crop Over. That is on my list for next year because I just think it looks like a good time, and I've never been to Barbados. So tell me a little bit about that experience.
So Barbados Carnival, or Crop Over as it's known as, it's not like any other carnival. First of all, they only play, for the most part, their local bashment or soca. Mm-hmm. So when you go, like, you kind of have to get into the know of all the local soca that's playing so that you can have a good time. Oh. And Bajans are a little bit more serious when it comes to their partying. So we use the term stush for how they behave.
Yes, girl.
But they're not as, like, wild and rock out like if you go to Trinidad or to Jamaica. So I would say that's definitely the difference. It's not a top carnival for me, but I think anybody should experience it once.
Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting. So what do you have a favorite costume? Do you have a costume that you have worn that you're like, hands down, I loved this costume?
Yes, it's actually a costume I wore about 2 years ago to Caravana. It's an all-white costume that I played with Carnival Nations in Caravana, and it held up so well. When a costume holds up and it doesn't like poke your body, and you look amazing in it, like that's to me what makes it my favorite. And that was one of my all-time favorite costumes. And I think last year it was my Miami Carnival costume was one of my favorites with Rebel Nation.
Nice. So do you save all your costumes, or do you lose things on the road?
No, I typically save all of mine, and every year I donate them. So last year I donated some to Wells Fargo in my region because they were putting on a Caribbean Heritage Month, for June. And so I donated my costumes to them, so they actually have them.
Wow,
right
I didn't
now.
even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, I guess for me now at this point, being a brand, they reached out to me. But yes, that's it. You can either do that, you can sell them. Some of my backpacks, like the feathers, I still have some of them, but I will donate them eventually.
Nice. So when you're looking for a band, to join for, the carnival season, what do you look for? Do you go off of past experience? Do you go off of the costumes that they have? Do you like what is your thing when picking a band?
When I choose a band, the first thing I choose it based on is the customer service or like people's review of it from the year prior. I try not to repeat bands simply because I want to be able to give my readers and my audience a different review every time. But I will go there first, and then secondary to that is I'll pick the costume. If the costumes that I like within a certain band that I've heard about are not up to par, then I will continue to play with a band that I'm familiar with from a year before.
And
so it's kind of a very diplomatic process when I do it.
Yeah, you're not playing around. So
no.
When you look for a costume, what do you need in your costume? Because some of those costumes are very skimpy, and the fact that you have to pick this costume and you don't get to try it on until you get there, that is always crazy to me every single year. And I have to say, for the past, I've only been to 2 carnivals, right? The one I went to in Trinidad and then the one I went to in Jamaica. And I loved both costumes, but I didn't really feel like it flattered my body that well. I still feel like I looked too fat and I just was not happy. So
you have to pick it based on your body type. I don't mind skimpy because I'm smaller, right? So for me, the more stringy, I prefer thongs, for example. So if I can't get a thong with a particular outfit, I'm not going to wear it. I like wire bras because they do a lot more for my shape. So as for me, actually, it's less material, more feathers is perfect for me. I will rarely ever be in a bikini or a high top or something like that. Right. Or I'll try a monokini if it's like a sexy monokini. But typically, I go based on colors first because I'm very chocolate. I need bright colors, so the brighter the better. I'll typically go with that. I hate brown costumes or just costumes that are very dull, like the earth tones. I typically stay away from those. But yeah, and then I can kind of get to see sightseeing of the material. So if you start, for example, the next carnival that you go to, if you follow any organization that goes into the mass camp, they'll do video shots to zoom into the carnival. Now, for me, I kind of know what material they're using at this point, just going, a couple of years in. Yeah. But you can see if it's like lycra or nylon, or if it's going to stretch, if it has no stretch, you can see that by now.
Okay.
So you can choose something that will work for your body type.
Have you ever had a costume malfunction?
Oh my God, crop over. Before I even put it on.
Oh my God.
And that just says a lot about the quality of the product, sometimes the gems that they choose to use. I always tell my readers, make sure you bring a glue gun with you and a sewing kit. Because you never know when you have to stick a gem back on, sew something. And some people, if you are a woman that's bustier, I always recommend bringing an additional bra that's in the color that you're wearing too, because it might not fit you. Yeah. That's an option too.
Yeah, that happened to my friend where her top wasn't really covering her nipples properly. And it was just a nightmare trying to put the tape and get that, fixed. It's just not the best feeling when you're on the road.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
Right, because you're always worried you're going to have an accident.
Exactly. So overall, talking about locations, what's your favorite location in terms of the island, the food, the overall experience, aside from the carnival itself, but just being in that place?
Top location would have to be Bermuda. I was so impressed with Bermuda. Like outside of the carnival, just it's such a beautiful island. I think everybody, even if you don't go for carnival, should definitely go to Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary to that, what would I say? I think that's the only one that I was blown away by. Like to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
When is
In terms of
Bermuda's
the island,
when is Bermuda's
Bermuda
carnival?
takes place in June. I want to say yes, in June.
Oh, okay.
Is it June? Yes, June.
Wow.
Oh my God, Nicole! At this point, a lot of the dates are all jumbled, but I do believe it's in June, like the third week of June. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right before. I think it's actually right before Hollywood Carnival, which happens the third weekend in June also.
So when you go to these carnivals that are not necessarily in the Caribbean, like a Hollywood carnival in Miami, well, Miami is kind of like the Caribbean, even though it's not. But
Right.
what is the vibe? Do you think the vibe is as legit as when you're in like Trinidad or Jamaica or like Barbados? What is it like the same or?
I think it is as legit because, again, it is still West Indian and people of Caribbean descent throwing the carnival, right?
Right.
However, the overall experience is way more, I think, inclusive of the neighboring, I would say, ethnicities that live in the area. So in Hollywood, for example, you have a lot of Latinos that are also involved in our carnival. In Miami, you have a lot of Cubans that are involved in the carnival, right? In Caribbean, you have a lot more like people of Indian descent that are involved in carnival. So you get a little flavor of everybody else, but I still think they're extremely good. They're just in the United States.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what else I've noticed is that there are a lot of carnivals that take place in Europe and, different places. I was
Oh
shocked.
yeah, definitely.
I
Definitely,
never knew
definitely.
that. Have you ever been to any of those
Yeah,
carnivals?
only Notting Hill. So you have
Okay.
Notting Hill, Rotterdam, that one in Germany that takes place, and they are extremely good. Like even
Really?
right now, there's some parties going on in Japan. So soca is taking over the world right now.
It really is. You know what I always
Yes.
wonder is how Marshall is able to create stuff that's just as good as the last thing that he came out with because that's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean?
It
Not
is, but he knows his audience. He knows his product. It's like Beyonce. You perfect your craft. You work at it all the time. You breathe it, live it, sleep it, and then you put it out. And soca, you have to remember, is also a feeling. So as long as you're singing about the feeling, how you woke up this morning and you were drunk and you couldn't go to work, or you went to work and like you were so tired, or you're thinking about a boomsy that you wind on, it's about a feeling. So if he
yeah.
continues to just sing about that, like people will always be able to relate to it. Music is about life, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I would say Marshall is an amazing performer and artist. I love him to death.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah,
Um
he is.
Amazing. So, do you always go to carnival with the same people or do you have have you ever gone by yourself? Like what is your carnival group like?
I have been by myself once, and I still wouldn't even stay by myself really because I had some people there. But I do travel with the same crew. I actually call them the Global Carnivalist team.
Mhm.
So my girls and I it's pretty much the same group of girls every single time that I go.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
I know.
Have you ever done carnival in Grenada?
No, not yet. We were supposed to go this year, and things didn't work out. So I'm actually looking forward to going probably next year.
Yeah, cuz
Grenada is a different beast on its own. They're known more so for their job, for the juve than for the mass. So
yeah.
that's the part of it that I want to experience.
I love that. I love that job thing. It's just me and my husband like we got to go to Grenada even though that whole oil and stuff looks really messy, but it just
It does, but
looks
it's so much part of the culture. You'll have a good time.
yeah, I definitely think it will be good. Um So, how much, and you don't have to give us an exact figure, but how much do you think you spent a year on Carnival alone, approximately?
So I don't want to go into too much detail about that because some of it for me is comped, right? So
Got
I
it.
don't pay for everything.
Yeah.
I am it's being a brand now. I am working to give people more insight into the experience that who have not been able to go.
Mm-hmm.
But Carnival is expensive. It is a very expensive hobby. Trinidad can run you $4,000. So can Cropova. Miami is about $1,500 depending on if you don't know anybody that lives in the area. So little things make some carnivals more expensive than the other. I think for an average person that's a carnival chaser, they'll probably spend about $8,000 to $10,000 a year going to carnivals if they go to more than 5.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very expensive.
And what about the not like the parties that happen, you know, in the summer, in the like duck work and this and that, you know, like they have all these parties. Do you attend those things too?
Yes, I do.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you ever think that you would give up Carnival? Or, I mean, do you think you're just going to be one of those older women that are still doing it and, you know?
I'll definitely be one of those old ladies that's still doing it. I see that. I see older women who still play mass and they're like 70. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like life goals because this is going to be me in another 40 years. Like, it's amazing.
Yes.
So it's too much ingrained in my soul. Like, I love it so much. And I think about that. I'm like, you come and it's literally like for 1 year, one carnival season, it's the same music really, right? The whole time. And yet somehow I'm as elated and excited every single time.
I know.
I'm always happy.
My God, it's so much fun. I'm just like thinking about it like, oh, I just love it. Like I never thought that I would love it like that. And even when I was in Trinidad, I had an attitude because I was like, look, this is too much walking. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I need to sleep. But I still.
No. I think when you came back home, Nicole, and you had time to sit and reflect on it, you were like, wow, I had a really good time.
Yes.
And so you start chasing it. That's how it starts, to be honest. It's always very mellow. You're not that as excited about it the first time because you're tired, you're hungry, your feet hurt. It's a shock to your body because you've never experienced something like this before. And then when you come home, you reflect on the good parts of it. You're like, you know what? I need to go again. And then you just adjust your attitude.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you're going to 4 of them. You don't even go on regular vacation anymore because you're like, when is Carnival? Like, that's where I'm trying to be.
Yep, that's how it is.
How it blooms.
Yeah, and then you kind of, like you said earlier with your tips, you kind of know yourself, you know what you can handle, and then you say, listen, I'm not going to that party, but I gotta be at this party, so I'm gonna rest, and you know, you get the groove.
Yep, precisely. So now for me, I know like I can do 1 party a day because that's all that matters. I sleep, I go lay by the beach. Like I've incorporated a lot more beach time into my itinerary because I don't want to overwork my body. Because remember, unlike a lot of people who are going for just this 1 year, I have 10 of them to go to. So I can't kill myself just because I'm at 1 party, you know? So I've incorporated a lot more rest time into mine. And overall, it's like a vacation/carnival. I come home, I had an amazing time, and I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, it definitely is, you know, and I love that beach time too. That's the only thing when I went to Trinidad, I didn't stay for that cool down beach day. That would
in Tobago.
Yeah, I would have loved to.
Yeah, you would have had such a good time. So next time you go, make sure you go.
Absolutely, I have to do that. So, do you use any Carnival concierge services ever?
No, no, I never have.
Would you recommend them for people who might not, you know, be familiar with, you know, how to go about making arrangements, or would it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would say if you're a planner and you just need to be pointed into the right direction, then that's where my website would come into play, right? www.globalcarnivalist.com. But if not, and you don't even know where to start, or that's not enough information for you, I would definitely say to utilize a concierge service because you don't even know sometimes where to begin to get tickets from. If you want to be in a certain band and you need a committee member, then they'll help with that. They'll help with the transportation. They'll help you with places to stay, probably places to eat. That would be a definitely good thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever been to a carnival where you felt like a little unsafe or like things were getting out of control? In
Say
any,
that again.
have you ever been to carnival in any location where you felt a little unsafe or like things were getting out of control? Or have you always had a positive experience?
No, I've always had a positive experience. I don't see people come to fight or to not have a good time, or I don't know. People come in, they're always very, very happy for the most part, right? You come here having a good time. There's never been a time that that's happened. I rarely see people fighting in carnival, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If I do, I'd be very shocked. It's like, you're supposed to be drinking and enjoying yourself. Why are you getting, like, so upset right now, you know?
I
And then
know.
we'll give them a little cool down wine. That's what it's called, when you calm somebody down by whining with them.
Yeah,
And you're like, okay, bye,
absolutely.
see you later.
I
On your
know.
merry way now. Yeah.
Right?
So that's how that works, yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so I'm trying to get to crop over next year. What tips do you have
Uh-huh.
for me? Because I've never been and I'm trying to be the organizer for my friends. So give me some tips.
I would say tips for crop over would be to book your flight first, because that's definitely the most expensive.
Ooh.
There will be certain events that you're going to have to work at the concierge service for, like liners, for example, because it's extremely hard to get into. And then narrow down your bands based on prior year experience. So I would say look at some like Beige or Kosa or Erupt the band, so that you can play match with them the next year. But crop over is fairly easy to go to and attend, because they have a lot of amenities in terms of places to stay in hotels,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Trinidad runs out of hotels, so you typically have to plan that one a year out.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We surely did. Okay, well, this was a great conversation. I'm so happy that you were able to talk to me and give me the download on Carnival. And before I let you go, I have to ask you about your oh hell no moment of Carnival this year. So, do you have any moments that you experienced from your different adventures this year where you had to stop and say, oh hell no? Are you serious? It could be good, bad, indifferent, whatever.
So it would be mostly bad. This year, apparently, there was an epidemic of pink eye in Barbados for crop over,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I was with a crew of four, excluding myself. All four of them had pink eye, and that was my oh hell no moment. I was like, I cannot believe that this is happening, and Barbados did not put an announcement out or anything. Like, it was nighttime, and they had on sunglasses, and everybody's tickets are set. Like, that just tainted our experience so badly.
Oh
It was
my
not a good thing.
gosh. That is so crazy. Now, that is a serious oh
I
hell
know.
no moment.
Yeah, like, so they came back home sick, and people were trying to test them. Like, the doctors were trying to test them for Zika. Like, that's just never fun when you
Yeah.
come back home.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. That's crazy. So please give us your information so that, people can log on to your sites or follow you on Instagram. Let us know what's your contact.
Okay, so if you need to go to any carnival, you have questions about the set list, where to go, what to wear, getting in shape, definitely go to my website, which is www.globalcarnivalist.com. I am on Instagram at globalcarnivalist.com as well. If you need to shoot me an email if you have any questions, email me at info@globalcarnivalist.com as well. I'm very friendly. I love everybody. I want everybody to go and have a good time. Just to make the first experience easy for them is a big thing for me.
Yeah, and I think that it really matters to have you to feel like you have someone to guide you on what to do and where to go, and it makes the experience more enjoyable.
Right, agreed.
Yes. So thank you so much again for joining me. It was a pleasure
No
having you.
problem. It was
And
great speaking to you.
thank you. And enjoy your carnival year next year, right? Because you're done for the year, right?
No, there's Miami and New York.
Oh, geez. New York? When is New York Carnival? Is that just
Well,
Labor Day?
Labor Day weekend. Yes, on
Oh,
Monday.
oh my
You should know
gosh.
that.
I know. I'm still learning. I'm a baby carnivalist.
Yes, yes, yes. There is New York, so I'll be in New York for that, and then Miami, which I am definitely looking forward to, because that is one of my favorites.
Really? See, I gotta go to
Yes.
Miami. I
You
definitely
should go
have
to
to.
Miami.